Hello everybody, welcome to Highlight Crafts Pyrography. Okay, so this is a reasonably new tool that we've got in our warehouse, and I know that you all, or an awful lot of you, would have tuned in to watch David launch the show. Now, I've worked with pyrography a very long time ago, years and years and years ago. Just a little bit of a backstory so you know where I'm coming from with it all. It's something that I worked with when we used to do woodwork and metalwork in school, and we had the opportunity of actually using these tools, and I fell in love with them then. And it's just a fabulous little tool, and the designs and what you can do with it is incredible. So that's where, so you know where a bit of my background comes from with this. And then when we had the opportunity of using it again here at Highlight Crafts, it opened up that new inspirational doorway, and I've just fell in love with it all over again. So it is just a phenomenal little tool. Now, around me that you can see are some of the samples that I've made using the tool. It couldn't be any easier. It's just really getting used to actually, it's just using it. The more you use it, the better you actually get with working with the tool. So this is the tool as it is. So it comes in with lovely little packaging. You're going to get the tool, and then you've also got these nibs. Now these here, these three, are actually what they call stamp nibs, okay? So they actually stamp an image. And then the others, so the other four, are what they call mark making nibs, okay? So they're really your main feature of actually using the tool. The small nib here, I've got this one that I work with a lot, the finer nib. Got one that comes to a bullet point, and then the two that are like chamfered. These are more like creating your shading, etc., on a bigger piece of work, but they are just lovely. Now, one of the things, pop that to one side because I've already got two open that I'm working with. One of the things that you have to do when you're doing pyrography is slow down. Okay, that's it. You've just got to slow down and then really enjoy the process. Now, at the moment, I don't know whether you can or cannot. I've got a little vent on my desk that's buzzing in the background. Now, that is because we're working in an extremely confined area in the studio, and we don't want to set the smoke alarms off, okay? So that's what you can hear in the background, if you can hear anything at all. So I just want to show you a few of the samples, first of all, to show you that you can actually get a really good amount of detail with these. They're beautiful. So if I bring in these three pieces here, so we've got a little bit of difference. We've got a little animal, we've got our positive thoughts, and then our little poppy. Now these are from a download that you can actually find on the Highlight Crafts website, okay? And yeah, we'll put a link in the video description below so you can just pop on and actually find that. So there are words, sentiments, there's animals, and there's flora and fauna on there as well for you to use, okay? So it couldn't be any easier, because you can go freehand if you want to. And I know there's some stencils for this as well that you can use. So they'll find, you'll find those on there as well. I'm sure Andrew will put the link in it for you as well. But using something like this and creating this is stunning. Now, I will say, do not use MDF for burning onto, okay? It's not the best of things to sand and use when you're sanding it and things like that, but you cannot use the pyrography tool, or I wouldn't advise you to use the pyrography tool onto MDF. Use the balsa wood and wood elements like this, because there's so much out there for you to actually get your hands on and have a go with. We've even got the wood hanging slicers like this one, I believe, on the website. This is the stencil. Okay, so this is a stencil that you're going to find on our website. And then this is one of the download images. Again, one of the sentiments and some of the flora that we've got on there. And then I really enjoyed doing this one. I did sand this back. So if you ever get a piece of wood that's actually got a coating on it, I do advise that you sand that back first before you actually start burning into it. Okay, so again, traced round and actually pop these on. So that was a little stamp. You can use your stamps, okay? Absolutely, you can use your stamps. I would advise that you stamp. I used VersaFine Clair for mine, and I just used a very pale brown or a very pale black, grey, sorry, very pale grey. Grey is very pale black, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah. So I've got this that I've already popped a design onto, but this is where, oh, turn it round, where you can go with it, okay? So all I did to do this is, I think that this actually might be within the download, is the little butterfly and etc. But doesn't it look beautiful when you start building this up? And any of these, such as this blank that you can see the clock, that is all also on our website. And then when you think about adding detail to something, this is part of the download. You can get the rabbit. These are our lovely wooden trays that are also on the website, but just look how beautiful and how much detail you can actually get on this. Now, this isn't freehand. I will share with you one of the little tips to how to transfer your images onto your wooden blanks, okay? It's so easy. So what I've already done is I've gone ahead and I've actually pinched something from a show that we did last night, and it gave me an idea, and I thought, oh, this is going to be beautiful to work with. So we have tattered lace Digistamp USB that works with My Craft Studio. Because it works with My Craft Studio, you can now change the sizing, which is like, oh, marriage made in heaven for this. So I've printed off one of the actual frames. So this is a tattered lace Digistamp frame that I've printed, and the secret to getting everything onto your imagery, onto your blanks, is this, our black or white graphite paper. It's fabulous, okay? So I've just laid that down. I found the middle of my image, so I folded it, found the middle, put a little hole in it, made sure I'd lined it up with that, and then made a hole in this so it lined up, and I knew where I was going, so I'd got it kind of in the middle, or you know, as close as I was going to get it. Then with a pen, all you then do is trace over the top. You don't need to add a lot of pressure. Go all the way around. If you feel better using this, you can tape it down with low tack tape. Absolutely you can. So that's how I've transferred that onto there. Same thing again, a little bit smaller project on one of the circles on a coaster, cut another one out, placed it down, and I've just drawn round it. And then if we get the chance, I've even done one of the downloads is a butterfly. And as you can see, I've not put all the detail in here. I've popped it down, used my graphite paper, and I've just given myself a hint of where the outlines are, okay? That's all you need to do. So let's have a little look at the tool. So the tool comes as it is, like this. It's the handle. Never ever touch this part while it's switched on and it's actually hot, okay? Because it gets seriously hot, okay? Hotter than boiling water. So you never ever touch that. In this one, I've actually got one of the stamps popped in the end because I'm going to work with two. Rather than waiting to cool one down, I'm actually going to use it as a stamp so I can show you. It's got one flex of cable, but on these, they don't have a heat adjustment. It's just one heat. So while you're learning, that's actually quite a nice thing to have, that you don't have to mess or think about the heat. The tool is just ready to go. And then in my second one, I've got the burning nib that I actually like to use, okay? So that's this lovely little, almost like a pencil. And that's exactly how you use it, just as if you're sketching and drawing with a pencil, okay? So that one is also ready to go. I also have a little bit of sandpaper. Now, while you're using your nib and you're burning, carbon will accumulate on your nib, okay, because you are burning at the end of the day. And all you need to do every now and again is just rub it on a little bit of sandpaper to remove the carbon from the tip, okay. That enables you to keep the same heat all the way through, so then the colour doesn't change. Now when you think about the colour, if I bring this one back in, you can see it's quite a strong burn in some places, quite a strong colour, and then it's a bit paler in others. All that is the speed in which I've drawn or brought the actual nib over the wood. The longer you hold the nib and the slower you move, the darker the mark. So let's do a little bit on this. I've just moved that to one side, just so it's out of my way. And then, as you can see, I'm holding back here on this black guard, and it can't be any easier. So I'm going to pop my glasses on, and I've already done the pencil drawing, okay, and I'm just going to trace around like so, and I'm going nice and steady. I'm not going too fast. I'm allowing the nib to do all of the work for me. Sometimes when you're burning, okay, I'm just making sure, because I'm working with two, I'm making sure, and they've got to be quite close to me because we're filming as well. So normally I'd have one a bit further away, but they're quite close to me here. On your grain, on your material, sometimes you will find when you're burning, when you're going across the grain, you'll get little dots, okay? A little dot will appear. That is natural, okay? All it is the sap, and it's jumping from one, let's say a ring, let's say if it's the rings, it's just it, and it's natural, it does happen. The only way you can get rid of it is to just go back over the top. And when you do make a mistake, it's super easy. You either use one of those really rough erasers, almost like a sandpaper eraser, or just sandpaper. One of your favourite tools to use with when you're using this is the emery boards for your nails, but the ones that are spongy, because you can get rid of marks. Maybe you've got a little bit of transfer paper that you've touched on here. So it's super easy cleanup as well. So let's show you a little bit more. Okay, so really easy, and I am hardly touching that wood. Okay, I just went back over it. So really super easy. Go back over and then around on that curve. It's because it does actually, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but it smells beautiful. Now, if you feel that you don't like the smell of this, or you might have, you know, asthma or something like that, I've got the little fan on here, but also you can wear a mask and work in a well-ventilated area, so open a window. It doesn't let off a lot of like smoke or anything. The only time that it actually does that, if you hold it on too long, and you'll see a little vapour come off it. So how quick and easy is it to create something that is just beautiful, and just following it around. And I went off the line a little bit there, but it doesn't matter because I've just gone back over and filled it in. There's no pressure on this at all, okay? I'm not pressing into this whatsoever. All my hand is doing is making sure it makes contact with the wood. The only pressure that is on here at the moment is the weight of the tip. Okay, I'm not adding anything to this whatsoever. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper, you can, because on some woods, the longer you actually hold this in contact, the more it will go through it. And I now know, while I'm working with this, I can feel that that's got very slippy, and it's got that it's not burning. I'm having to go over it more than once. So to me, I know, can you see? I've got carbon on the nib, okay? And you will all feel the same thing. You'll feel that build-up of carbon. All the way around. Now I'm super excited about doing this because you are actually going to be able to come along to Highlight Crafts and do this class with me. So that is like one of my most favourite things. And again, I can feel, so I just keep the sandpaper near me. Okay. And when you actually finish the project, I love the fact that it's actually, it's instant. It's like a bit like stamping when you use your stamps. It's an instant project. You know straight away. You get that instant, oh, that's amazing. So again, go around. And it's just practice. Like I say, I know that I've got carbon on there again. And it's just using the tool. So that is following one of the designs. Now, top tip for you. I've gone off the end of the box. I've been using the box to put my hand on. I'm going to put my hand underneath, like so. Or you get an old sock, a pair of tights or something like that, and it doesn't need to be any much bigger than maybe a tennis ball size. Fill it with rice, okay? So put it with rice, and you put your hand, and you have it sat underneath your hand, and it's just that takes up that distance when you're working on something that's a little bit higher, okay? Or make a fist and pop your hand on top. So now I need to actually just steady what I'm working with. But again, it's such a forgiving project as well. So don't think, oh, Amanda, I'm never going to be able to do this. You really are. Because it is very forgiving when you're working with it. Okay. So that is how you would build up your pattern. It's literally just tracing round. And how beautiful is that going to be? That if I then go in with maybe one of the circles in the middle and do a bigger, you know, a circular doily in the middle, to then put the clock hands on and maybe put some stain or something on there. Or you can cover it in varnish. Just stunning. So I'm going to swap that out, and I'm just going to show you how to add in your detail for your little butterfly. So again, I'm going to just quickly do the outline because I need the outline to work from. Okay, follow that across. Do the little zigzags. Can you see how easy this is working? I'm not even adding any pressure, and if you can just manipulate the tool as if you were holding a pencil, you can absolutely do this. Okay, just putting in some of the detail. Now, putting all the lines and the shading in, you're literally, and it's how quick or how slow you move to put this in. Okay, there are other nibs within this that will allow you to do this, but I just go with this smaller nib, especially when I want the smaller detail. And I'm literally just going to bring that shading out. Can you see the colour difference? I can. I'm not sure if you guys can. Okay, Andrew's going to zoom in so you can have a little look. Can you see how it gets a bit paler? I'm just working quicker. Okay, just working a little bit quicker to get that paler detail in. So here on this piece, I want to put in some lines. So a little bit of shading, and then if it's not dark enough, just go back in again, and I'm literally adding a few dots. Okay, so now I'm going to go around here, and then like so, and that I know I've got lines that come off, and I've got a piece that comes down here. And all I'm doing is then going back in, and I'm being really light. I've got some carbon on there again. And it is one of those things that you do end up, it's you fall into the, you get into the zone, and then just rotate what you're working with and add in more of your detail, and you can draw like a pencil. So there you go, now you're getting that colourway, aren't you? You can see that, can't you? So that's quite, I'm literally colouring as if I'd got a pencil in my hand. The nib is only just literally touching the wood. Okay, so then when I want to add more detail, I've slowed down. Okay, turn it back round again, and I'm going to colour. And the nib is only just literally touching. I want to extend that out a bit more, bring it right across, and then in the middle. Okay, and again really light to colour in the detail. I've got extra detail here. And you can keep your actual piece close by you so you can actually see what you're doing, okay? So you can see where you're colouring, and it gives you that little bit of a jumping off point, let's suggest. So when I'm doing my outlines, I'm going really slow and putting a dark line down, okay? And then when I actually want to add in more detail, like so, again it's slower, but then when I'm wanting to just shade, it's quicker movements, and you can go back over just like you can with your pencil, and you're adding shading with your pencil. Okay, can you see the colour building up in the corner? Okay, so this, it couldn't be any easier, and it's so beautiful to use. You don't have to be a colourist, because I'm really not a colourist. And then speed up. To add a little bit more on these edges, so I've slowed down. Like so. And that's how you build up the detail when you're doing detail. And that's all done. I've not changed my nib yet, but can you see all these little black marks on my paper? That is the carbon build up, okay? So let's go. Let's have a little play with the stamp, okay? So I'm sure a lot of you will find this maybe a little bit of fun. So you get different stamps, and I believe this one that I've got in here is a flower. Always have the wire on the top of my hand, okay? So that way, if I do that, I'm not in control of that wire. It can flick about and move me around, okay? Having it over the top and away from me is much easier to work with. So then your stamp, you use flat like a stamp. And this one, you may see the vapor, because if I just touch like that, makes the mark, but you need to hold it a little bit longer, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And now you can go all the way around and do the mark making. Andrew is saying that this looks like a football. It could possibly be a football, but by the time I get all the way around and I've done that, this is just going to be, it could be, what else could it be? An animal print. Okay, so I'm just going all the way around. So this is the easiest mark making you can possibly do. Now I'm going to say, where I put in my fingers, where that's just been, it's hot. Yeah, it does. This is seriously hot machine. So please be aware of that when you're using it. This is not to work with the younger children at all. This is for adults to use with this, absolutely. Now, if it gets that, because obviously there's no temperature control, you can actually gauge the temperature a little bit yourself by having a little fan on your desk. So if it gets a little bit too warm and it's making too dark a mark, just hold the nib in front of the fan for a few seconds. That literally cools it down. Okay, that's all. Or blow on the actual tip as well. That will cool it down a little tiny bit for you as well. But like I say, practice, practice, practice. Working with it really makes the difference. And you gain the confidence to be able to do it as well. So I'm just going to do a few more marks along here. Didn't quite, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I know I've got, can you see it's missing? It's carbon on there. Straight away, can you see? It's carbon on it. You need to be aware of it. So do a few, and it's always good to get into the habit after doing a few. Just rub it off. Again. Will I have gauged this? Oh, wow. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to sit that down to one side. There we go. And off screen, in fact, I'm just going to lift it up. You get one of these. Okay, this is your stand. With every one, you get this lovely little stand. Tape it down, okay, because you don't want it dancing around your table. Yeah, unless you've got a rubber mat that doesn't allow it to move about. So I've got it taped, actually taped down to my work surface. So I know that even if I catch the wire, that's not going to scuttle off and dance around my table, because you have to put protective stuff down on your tables as well. So I'm working on a glass mat, because obviously if it was on a wooden table, don't do this on your best dining table and not put a cloth and stuff down to protect it, please. One of the things that you can actually use, you can get heat mats or even an ironing mat. Put that down first, so you know no heat is going to transfer through to your table, and then work on a glass mat. And it's a good idea to work on a glass mat, because if something you are working in, it's quite warm, you can flip it over and cool it down quite quickly. So those are a few of the things that I can show you. Let me just quickly, normally I would absolutely use a stencil, but there's one other thing that I just want to show you. Okay, so I'm freehanding at the moment. So I haven't got my stencil with me. I wouldn't advise you using your stencil, even your metal ones, okay? Because these are brass nibs. Even if you've got your groovy metal ones and you think, oh, it'll be okay, I would not really advise you using those, because as soon as you start scratching into your, it will wear against your nib, and you don't want to do that. You can absolutely use any of your stencils to draw it. Excuse me while I just, because I'm slipping off my chair. You can even use your dies. Cut your dies out of cardstock and trace your die. Yeah, stamps, stamped image, you can use that. But like I say, use a really pale, really nice soft pale brown, or the soft grey. You know, like when you do your stamping and you want to do as if it looks like there's no line drawings there, you would use a real soft pale grey, colour up to the lines, and then the lines aren't there anymore when you do your colouring. It's the same with this. You don't want anything too obvious, because when you actually start doing the burning process, you will see. So don't stamp with red and blue, because the red and the blue will show, okay? Especially if you're doing a neutral one. So I've drawn T. I'm going to burn around the edge. Like so. And I'm only going lightly. This is a very quick outline. Yeah, Andrew's just saying, if you've got somebody that is an artist in the family, absolutely, you could have them draw. In fact, one of the fun things that you can do, maybe your kids have brought, little tots. You know when they do the horses, and the horses have got two legs at that stage where they're really quite small, they're just getting into their art. You can then transfer that with your graphite paper. So take a photocopy of it, lay it down, transfer it with your graphite paper, and that could be something that you do transfer onto a clock and put Grandma and Grandad on here, and you've actually transferred their own line artwork onto something. So there's so much you can do. You can do something really super, super simple like this. Just write tea, coffee, even onto it. One thing that I've been doing recently at home is I've been using wooden spoons. So I've put silly comments on the wooden spoons, or you can absolutely, Andrew's very good comment there, Andrew, you can absolutely sell what you make. And if you go onto certain sites and have a look how much the pyrography goes for and how much people will actually, it's phenomenal. Something like this that I did with a rabbit took some time, okay? So you have to slow down to put the detail and everything in. It does take a few hours, just sat being really careful, adding in that detail. But it depends how you want to go with it. Making little coasters with your stamped pieces and just putting edges on here, or maybe your stamps that you've got. You might have got some of Stephanie's stamps that she did for her flowers, for her one-stroke painting. They fit beautifully in here. Just one flower, just go around the outside of the and do it as a line drawing exactly as it is. Put a little bit of detail in. Brilliant. You can then also take this on a lot further, okay? So I'll just show you this part, and then I'll tell you where we can actually go with this. And there's a lot more of that I'm going to come up and share with you and teach here at Highlight Crafts. So yeah, there's so much. This isn't just it. This is not where it stops. The pyrography is just a beautiful craft to do. So now we've done that, it's like, well, how are we going to fill all that in? Again, slow down, okay? And you do little circles. Now, you're going to say, yeah, but why can't I do lines? You can do cross-hatching. Absolutely, you can do all of that. But to get, if I bring this in, to get a really nice, smooth effect like this, where it's a strong colour across all of it, let me show you on the E. Let me just quickly draw around. You see how hot the nib is? And now that colour, I've not done anything that I know. Can you see the colour change there? Where's my sandpaper gone? As I came up here, that had got carbon on it. Okay, taking it off and it's back. You can go in and do little lines. Turn it around and go crossways. Okay, gives you like gingham or a tartan effect on there. You can. To get a smoother, make little circles. And it's a more full image. Okay. Like so. So that's a smoother, more solid colour burn. So the other things, other places we can actually go with this, just as a for instance, and so you can know what's coming up, is that you can actually do this onto paper. Usually it is your mixed media paper or watercolour cardstock, so you can actually do pyrography onto that. You can also do it onto canvas, so maybe it's a canvas bag or something. At the end of the day, it's just like a very hot iron, so if you left your iron onto a garment, it would leave a mark. But in this way, we're doing it in a lot more controlled manner. So there's lots coming up that I really want to show you. It works beautifully with the hot foiling pen as well. So we've got so much coming your way with the pyrography. I want to say a great big thank you for you all coming along and joining and watching what we've got up to with our lovely new little machine. And see you all again real soon. You take care. Bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.